Hi, I'm glad to see you on my channel. Show your support by giving a thumbs up, subscribing, and leaving comments. If my husband hadn't been away on a business trip, none of this would have happened. I would have had a clear conscience and would have been happy instead of cursing that night. It all happened spontaneously. I can't remember or understand how it happened, but it did. Jessica, I'm going away on a business trip. Please take care of my dad. It's hard for him without my mom. Let him stay with us while I'm gone, and then I'll take care of him when I get back. I agreed to help. What are my options? My husband's father recently lost his wife. Although she was nothing outstanding, he still loved her deeply. Since she was my husband's stepmother, he didn't experience the grief as much. Robert, my husband's father, is a physically fit and well-groomed man. He is usually reserved and modest, but this time he went beyond his normal behavior as if possessed by a demon. He tried to confront his emotions. For the first 3 days, we spent more time together. I tried my best to lift his spirits and take his mind off his life with his late wife. I took him to concerts, the theater, and exhibitions. However, it became obvious that these efforts were not enough for him. On the 4th day, his mind went blank. He started acting like a young man. He touched me every now and then, hugged me, just to draw attention to himself. At one point, he even came in without knocking when I was changing. I realized that it was just the loss of a loved one and needed to be endured. I'm a psychologist, so I decided to have a therapy session, timing everything just to coincide with dinner. That day, I spent a long time in the kitchen. I decided that he will be pleased if I cook us a delicious dinner. I set the table, lit candles, opened a bottle of wine, and invited him over. I started my therapy from far away, his younger years. I am so interested in learning about you, your hobbies, your wife. What attracted you to her and why? I began our conversation, penetrating deeper and deeper into his mind. I could not keep up with the course of his thoughts, as suddenly it dawned on me that it was he, not me, who was leading the psychotherapy session. He smoothly threw the rod on me and was already aware of all my misfortunes, that my husband does not satisfy me as a man, that his eternal business trips cannot make me happy as a woman, that I constantly live alone in these walls, and I try to somehow entertain myself, although I realize that I'm too lonely person. He dropped to his knee in front of me, wiping away a tear that had just fallen down my cheek. He put his arm around my shoulders, quietly reassuring me and saying the words I needed most. In that moment, I was a toy in his hands. He suddenly started stroking my head, going through my hair, slowly stroking my back. This very thing happened that evening. The morning after, I sat with a cigarette in my teeth and couldn't understand how he had managed to get me around his finger. He came up to me, kissed me on the cheek, took my cigarette, and finished it. His look told me everything, and we were back in the bedroom. And so it went on until my husband came from a business trip. I even took the weekend off work to quench my thirst for feelings with my father-in-law, which I so lacked in family life. When my husband returned, I was very sad because I had to decide how to continue meeting with my father-in-law. Everything was so good as in a fairy tale. I finally felt like a woman.